It's an honor to be invited to launch the Policare policy, which forms the roadmap to the National Police Service's integrated response to gender-based violence. I applaud the service for demonstrating effective leadership by coming up with an innovative and transformative initiative which aims to effectively respond to victims of violence. The idea of this integrated response to gender-based violence is also aligned to the commitment made by His Excellency the President earlier this year during the Generation Equality Forum held in Paris. This initiative, therefore, amplifies our national commitment to ending all forms of gender-based violence by 2026 and female genital mutilation by 2022. It also aligns with the commitments made during the 25th anniversary conference on the International Conference on Population and Development, Nairobi Summit, to end female genital mutilation by strengthening coordination on legislation and policy framework, communication, advocacy, and evidence generation on elimination of FGM. Further, we have committed to end all forms of gender-based violence, including child and forced marriages, by addressing social and cultural norms that propagate the vice, whilst providing support to women and girls who have been affected. And lastly, we must ensure universal access to quality reproductive health services, including the prevention and management of GBV. I thank all the partners represented here for your contribution in the preparation of these operational documents designed to enhance service delivery to Kenyans in responding to sexual and gender-based violence in all its forms. Today's agenda is especially important to me because the world over, we recognize that women and girls are the most vulnerable against many forms of violence. These types of violence require special treatment and support services, which is the objective of Policare. It will provide a framework that strengthens the capacity of the police service so that they can effectively and efficiently prevent and respond to the plight of vulnerable women and girls. Your public duty and responsibility in this instance is vital because you are the front line. You are the first point of contact to help for victims of gender-based violence. You need to gain their trust so that the victims feel safe as you conduct your investigations and gather evidence against these crimes. We are, however, aware that addressing gender-based violence is complex and requires multi-sectoral coordination and support from all sectors, including the courts, prisons, communities, non-governmental organizations, and civil society. And so as we celebrate the launch of this policy, I acknowledge the coordinated efforts of all partners here today and thank you for your contribution and commitment towards ensuring the successful implementation of this policy. It is my hope that Policare centers will be swiftly replicated across the country so that victims and survivors of GBV have access to the full spectrum of services available to them. We, however, know that police and legislation alone cannot change customs, cultural practices, beliefs that continue to impede the legal and legislative reforms. Underreporting is particularly acute among certain groups of women and girls facing multiple forms of discrimination, which place them at higher risk of recurring violence. But these crimes are not only committed against women and girls alone, there are men and boys also. The success of this noble effort that we are launching today will require scaling up our joint efforts in advocacy and public awareness so that victims feel empowered and safe to communicate their experiences. It will also require that we take time to address the root causes of violence. I'm pleased to note that through the Policare initiatives, public awareness has already been advanced in 26 counties so that in every community, service and justice will be delivered close to where the victims are seeking help. On my part, I will continue to advocate and support initiatives such as the one we're launching today. As I conclude, let me once again convey my appreciation of the Policare concept and congratulate you all for this significant step towards addressing, responding, and managing gender-based violence in Kenya. I pay special tribute to the National Police Service leadership for this initiative and wish you success as you implement this new response system. With those remarks, I now declare the Policare operational policy document officially launched. Thank you.
For over 6 decades since independence, we had a police force that was force-driven in terms of enforcing law and order before the new constitution, and therefore the necessity to transform the police from a force to a service so that they become the go-to institution that we ought to be. And I thank the Lord that we have had the opportunity to live in our country at this point in time when a lot of good stuff has been done to support the police service. The Policare that we launched today is part of that process of transforming the ideology of policing the country so that the police are the go-to people and the police is the one institution you should go for all manner of help. We thank all our partners. We thank you, Your Excellency, for supporting the initiative of Policare, because what we will do is we are going to have a one-stop shop or one-stop center where victims of gender-based violence can go for counseling, for help, and for rehabilitation. The challenge we have, in my view, is twofold. One, all of us, and on this particular occasion, ma'am, allow me to take advantage of this occasion to address my colleagues in the National Police Service, that we will cover a lot of ground if we changed attitude, because that is the first challenge. All of us must now change our attitude towards our policing responsibilities and understand gender-based violence as the most cruel reality of our society that we have to fight. Two, Your Excellency, and I'm really grateful that you found time to be here to launch this. We all need to go out there and build a broad-based coalition and involve others and build community support so that the work that Policare is going to do can be supported by other actors. We have capacity as police, yes, but we will not do it alone. And that's why I'm so grateful that the Gender Commission is in this. A good number of elected leaders are working with us on these, civil society organizations, and a broad range of non-state actors are working on this with us. Going forward, Your Excellency, we will do our best to enhance the involvement of others so that these Policare institutions do not become just an event. They become a reality of how we do policing. They become a reality of how we build our communities. And they become avenues of outreach towards transforming society's attitude towards women, frankly speaking, and dealing with how we handle some of the challenges that we face. What we are doing today, Your Excellency, is the beginning of a journey The destination and the end state is that we create a public service infrastructure through the police that provides an avenue and an opportunity for gender-based violence victims to be supported and to be addressed. Because then we will be truly a human society that cares for each other and a society that is going to develop. We are not going to develop and do big things, build things and grow our economy when we are also animals in the manner in which we deal with our fellow human beings. So to deal with the animal within, we really have to invest every effort and every opportunity we have to support the growth of the Policare. Before I take my seat, Your Excellency, I need to make this commitment to you that on my own behalf and on behalf of my colleagues at the Ministry of Interior and on behalf of the National Police Service, we will give this all our attention and ensure that as we go forward, even in some of our activities with the county and regional security teams, we will now begin to build a framework of supporting Policare as a way of moving forward. My colleagues from the police service, let not the First Lady's time and energy be spent in vain. Let us make this something that we are going to be proud of. Very finally, Your Excellency, before I take my seat, as a citizen of this country, not as a public servant or as a minister, as a citizen of this country, I want to tell you this from the bottom of my heart. And I believe I speak on behalf of very many Kenyans. We are so proud of you because you have distinctly given our country unparalleled honor and respect because of the way you have executed your public life, the way you have carried on the attention you pay to our children and our wives and women. You have given us an unparalleled place in the globe. We can't thank you enough for that. You could have, because truth be told, Your Excellency, you could have just gone about your life as the First Lady. This is not a demand on you by the Constitution. It is out of your grace and the energy that you have personally put into these things that our country has gained respect, and courtesy of the work you do, the issues of children and women in our country have remained on the front burner of the work that we do as a nation. So, Your Excellency, I sincerely thank you as a citizen of this country. And I believe on behalf of many of my colleagues in the public service, we thank you for what you have done to the image of our country and for what you have done to our families as our First Lady.
On behalf of the ministry responsible for policy and coordination on promotion of gender equality, we are greatly honored to join you as you preside over the launch of Policare policy that supports government multi-stakeholders approach to tackling gender-based violence. Your Excellency, I thank you and your team for the programs and projects that your office has been implementing, both at the national and the county government. Your Excellency, we recognize gender-based violence recognizes or achieves better through multi-agency. In the program that we run as a government responsible for promotion of gender equality, Your Excellency, our role is to coordinate policy, and at the end of it, we should be able to tell who is doing what in the alignment of the vision Kenya wants to deliver. In particular, Your Excellency, from the testimonies you have heard here, every survivor who stood here, I could say, stands for over 1,000 people. I am sure that is not the country we would want to have, and that's why the government has put a multi-agency forum or framework to coordinate gender-based violence, being informed by the research that was done by National Crime Center that was pointed during COVID. Almost the incidences of sexual and gender-based violence, Your Excellency, increased by 92%. It's not only a Kenyan phenomenon, it's global, but we have to do something about it at the local level. Your Excellency, we are Ministry of responsible for gender in that framework, Ministry of Interior and the Coordination of National Function, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Treasury, and ICT, and the county government. We have also found it wise, Your Excellency, to put the Office of DPP, judiciary, private sector, civil society, and development partner. Therefore, the launch of the Policare policy is a great innovation of linking sexual and gender-based violence services together in one-stop shop. We will continue to work in collaboration with all stakeholders and your office towards achieving commitment that the country has made towards an equal and a better future for all of us.